Thank you, Dr. Bumble. So our next presenter is going to be joining us from Rochester, Minnesota, and I will go a little slower on his introduction while we wait for him to pop up on screen. There he is. There's Dr. Wilson with us right now. Dr. Wilson is an infectious disease physician at the Mayo Clinic, and even though he's far away, we just thought it was so essential that he get a chance to speak with you, because he truly is a world leader in NTM and tuberculosis. He did his medical school at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. He came to Mayo Clinic in Rochester, where he did his internal medicine training and his infectious disease fellowship, and then went on to have a very specialized career, truly excelling in NTMs and TB, and you'll hear him later in the TB section also. He's actually on the guidelines committee to create the first for the United States multi-drug resistant TB guidelines. So whenever we have very complicated cases, we all know Dr. Wilson's pager number by heart, and he's the first person we call. His fun fact is he was the captain of the rowing team at Notre Dame when he was in college. He claims it was many years ago, but we don't believe it. But with that, we will introduce Dr. Wilson to talk about rapidly growing mycobacterial infections. Thanks, John.
Great. Thank you, Stacy. I have to say I didn't say we were a very good rowing team, so it's maybe a little bit of a lower bar there. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with all of you today. It's an honor to talk about rapidly growing mycobacteria. You know, I do have to say, being here in Minnesota, it was 5 degrees this morning waking up. It snowed 2 to 3 inches last night, quite a bit of ice. My dogs peed on the floor because they were too afraid to go outside in the cold. And, you know, it's just very special this time of year in Minnesota and difficult to make it out to Hawaii. So I apologize for not getting out there. So let's go ahead and talk now about rapidly growing mycobacteria. To begin with, let's start by defining what is rapidly growing mycobacteria. Now, in general, all mycobacteria are fairly slow growing, especially when we compare them to Staphylococcus aureus, E. coli, and other gram-negative bacteria. We're looking at these organisms replicating roughly every 20 minutes or so, and most mycobacteria, by contrast, divide once every 18 to 24 hours. That would include, for example, tuberculosis, MAC, and other labeled slow-growing mycobacteria. Rapidly growing mycobacteria, in contrast, are defined by the Runyon criteria in the laboratory setting, where they grow more comparatively quickly, roughly in 7 days with solid agar, and so that becomes a useful diagnostic tool on your